something big is happening to Canadian football. The CFL, one of the oldest leagues in North America, is about to change the game we thought we knew. The field is shrinking, the rules are shifting, and fans are asking one question. Is this the future of Canadian football, or the end of what makes it unique? From new scoring rules to a redesigned field, the CFL is rewriting its playbook, and not everyone's happy about it. Let's break down what's changing, why it's happening, and what it means for the future of football in Canada. Before we talk about what's changing, let's remember what makes the CFL different. First, the field. It's 110 yards long with 20-yard end zones and 65 yards wide. That extra space makes the game faster, wider, and more explosive. The CFL also only gives you 3 downs to move the chains. That means you have to pass more, play more aggressively, and stay creative. And here's where it gets wild. Receivers can sprint toward the line before the snap. That kind of motion just doesn't exist in the NFL, and it makes CFL offenses unpredictable. Then there's the famous rouge, the single point that keeps every kick return exciting. It's one of those rules that fans either love or love to argue about. Combine all that with a faster 20-second play clock and you get a game that never stops moving. It's chaotic to some, thrilling to others, and it's what gives the CFL its personality. Starting in 2026, the CFL begins its boldest evolution in decades. Under the Tradition Meets Innovation plan, the league is reshaping the game to boost excitement and attract new fans, while trying to hold on to what makes Canadian football special. The biggest changes come in 2 phases, 2026 and 2027. In 2026, the CFL tweaks its rouge rule. Missed field goals or punts that sail through untouched. No point. But if the returner touches the ball and can't escape the end zone, the kicking team still earns a single. The goal: more thrilling returns and fewer games decided by lucky bounces. The play clock also modernizes. A 35-second automatic reset replaces the old 20-second manual count, giving broadcasts smoother pacing and fans less dead time. Teams will now sit on opposite sidelines, streamlining substitutions and avoiding midfield congestion. Then, in 2027, the real makeover begins. The field shortens from 110 yards to 100, but stays 65 yards wide, still the widest in North America. End zones shrink to 15 yards, and the goalposts move to the back line. Commissioner Stuart Johnston says, "We're trading field goals for touchdowns, making our great game even more entertaining while keeping the traditions fans love." The league projects roughly 60 extra touchdowns a season, but critics warn this is the closest the CFL has ever looked to the NFL. Around half of Canadian fans support the changes, while others call it Americanization. League officials counter that the 65-yard field, 12-player teams, 3-down system, and signature waggle motion all remain untouched. The CFL calls it modernization. Traditionalists call it a crossroads. Either way, 2026 and 2027 will reshape Canadian football forever. The most dramatic transformation of all lands in 2027, a complete redraw of the CFL field. For decades, the Canadian field was iconic. 110 yards long, 20-yard end zones, goalposts planted right on the goal line. But beginning in 2027, the field will shrink to 100 yards, matching the NFL's length, while keeping that famous 65-yard width that gives the CFL its open field chaos. End zones will tighten from 20 to 15 yards deep, still the largest in professional football. And the old 55-yard line disappears, replaced by a 50 at midfield. Most noticeably, the goalposts move from the front to the back of the end zone. That change alone opens the middle for crossing routes and reduces the risk of collisions. The commissioner says the goal is to trade field goals for touchdowns while improving the fan experience both in stadiums and at home. League analysts expect about 60 more touchdowns a season, thanks to clearer passing lanes and extra red zone creativity. Coaches already predict bolder play calling. With shorter drives and a fully open end zone, offenses can attack deeper and faster, while defenses will have to adjust to new angles and condensed spacing. Some fans worry this looks too American, but supporters point out the CFL is still uniquely Canadian. a wider field, 3 downs, 12 players, and the waggle are here to stay. The league hopes the new design will make every red zone play more unpredictable, and every touchdown feels just a little bit bigger. Next up, maybe the most debated rule in Canadian football, the rouge, or single point. For over a century, the rouge rewarded 1 point when a kick landed in the end zone and wasn't brought out. It meant that even a missed field goal or punt sailing wide could still change the scoreboard. But starting in 2026, that's about to change. No more free points. If a missed field goal or a punt rolls untouched through the end zone, it's now 0 points. The kicking team only gets that point if the returner catches the ball, kneels, or is tackled inside the end zone. The CFL says the goal is to remove what critics call cheap points and put the spotlight back on skillful special teams play. Supporters believe this keeps the game fairer and forces punters and kickers to aim with precision. But traditionalists aren't thrilled. They see the rouge as one of the league's quirkiest, most Canadian rules, a twist that keeps every kick return alive and unpredictable. League leadership defends the change as part of a bigger evolution, encouraging more aggressive offense, riskier late-game calls, and dramatic finishes. As the commissioner put it, we're trading field goals for touchdowns, innovating where change is needed to evolve our world-class game. For kickers, this means no more easy consolation points. For returners, it means new freedom and new pressure to run it out. And for fans, it might just make every special teams play a little more electric. Reaction to the CFL's new rule era is split. Some see progress, like Saskatchewan's Blaine Lawther, who supports changes that boost safety and growth, and quarterback Trevor Harris, who says, it's still 3 downs, still 12 people, still Canadian football. Others aren't convinced. Winnipeg's Mike Miller called the field and goalpost move sickening, while BC quarterback Nathan Rourke blasted the updates as garbage that make the league feel too American. Fans are just as divided. On social media, some celebrate faster, higher-scoring games. Others mourn the loss of the rouge and wider traditions. For the CFL, this is the challenge, to modernize without losing its identity. The CFL's new rules will reshape how every team plays. A shorter 100-yard field and goalposts at the back open the middle for deeper passes and more creative routes. With no more free rouge points, coaches are expected to go for it on 3rd down instead of settling for long kicks. Commissioner Stewart predicts 10% more completions and 60 extra touchdowns per season. Defenses now have to cover wider zones and adapt to new red zone angles, while special teams lose their safety net. Punters must aim with precision, and returners are pushed to bring kicks out for field position. The new 35-second play clock speeds up the rhythm, cutting dead time and giving fans more continuous action. As Calgary coach Dave Dickinson puts it, expect gutsier 3rd down calls and more late-game drama. Faster, riskier, more explosive. This is the CFL built for the modern era. Beyond strategy and scoring, the CFL's new rules touch something deeper. Its identity. Commissioner Stewart insists the league is retaining the unique elements upon which our traditions stand, but innovating where change is needed. Supporters agree, saying 12 players, 3 downs, and a 65-yard wide field still gives Canadian football its unmistakable character, even if the dimensions now resemble the NFL a bit more. Analyst Doug Brown calls it a very pronounced Canadian flair that modernization can't erase, but many fans aren't convinced. Shorter fields, smaller end zones, and a reworked rouge feel to them like a slide toward Americanization. Some fan groups and petitions argue the CFL risks losing the quirks that made it special. Online and in the media, the debate is fierce. Survival through evolution, or the fading of a national tradition. Right now, the CFL stands at a crossroads, balancing innovation with heritage, fighting to grow without forgetting who it is. Even with excitement about modernization, the CFL's rollout faces big challenges. Shortening the field, shrinking end zones, and moving goalposts means stadium upgrades across the country. Some clubs and university programs worry about cost and uneven facilities. Coaches and players will need time to adjust. New kicking angles, faster 35-second play clocks, and benches on opposite sides all change how games are managed. Conditioning and communication now matter more than ever. There's also fan resistance. Petitions and online debates accuse the league of Americanizing the sport, and a few season ticket holders have voiced frustration. The commissioner calls this a transition period, emphasizing that changes are phased in so teams can adapt, while data and fan feedback guide tweaks along the way. For the CFL, success depends on balancing logistics, player readiness, and fan loyalty, proving that modernization and tradition can truly coexist. The CFL's modernization isn't a single flip of a switch, it's a phased plan stretching across the next 2 seasons. In 2026, the first wave begins, the new rouge rule, a 35-second play clock, and benches on opposite sidelines to speed up play and improve flow. Then in 2027, the field itself changes. 100 yards long, 15-yard end zones, and goalposts at the back line, all designed to create smoother broadcasts and more scoring. With the 2025 season wrapping up, teams will use the off-season to adapt to the faster pace and new special teams dynamics. The CFL's Rules Committee will track results and refine details using real game data. Even the commissioner calls it a data-driven evolution, a modernization built to protect the heart of Canadian football. And as the next seasons get closer, one question remains. Can the CFL evolve and still stay unmistakably Canadian? So that's where the CFL is heading, a league caught between tradition and transformation. What do you think? Are these rule changes the spark Canadian football needs, or a step too far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into the future of sports. And here's to the next kickoff in a brand new era of the CFL. For more content and much more, please click up here to dive into more videos. And thank you so much for watching. Your support is really appreciated. I'm Sportsigator, and I'll catch you guys next time. Until then, keep loving sports.